Hello there. I wanted to make a video. I've tried earlier, but I feel like I should just write some bullet points. So I wrote some bullet points here, and here I go. Let's work through these bullet points. I titled the card Prince of Peace. And it's because in order for him to return, people have to reach a point where they want to take in that kind of energy. He cannot just step in and automatically fix things. If people are just hanging on, to darkness, he can't. He follows the will of his father, so he can't just step in and be like, bam, and then just make everything better. It's like he can't just do that because it's not going to help anything. So I would like to post this video as a way to make it known to people. If you truly believe in a higher power and you truly believe in goodness, pray. Pray for people that need help. Don't just pray for your family. Don't just pray for your immediate friends. Don't just pray for people that you know. Pray for people you don't know. Pray for those strangers. Pray for people that you'll never meet. Pray for people that are suffering right now, because we live in a world controlled by evil, and that evil has a very elaborate way of deceiving people and distracting them from the truth. Pray, because it's not just hollow words spoken. Pray from the heart, because that is what God hears. That is what the Lord will hear. Pray for his return, but also make sure that you're working on yourselves. Also make sure to step out of your comfort zone and to do something kind, genuinely kind, for another person, for an animal. Show that you care by picking trash up off the street. If he was here, he would be doing that very thing. He wouldn't leave people feeling abandoned, sad, and alone. He would not be sparking hate between one person and another. He is a very compassionate being, very kind and very loving. There are a lot of people out there that have watched The Chosen. I have not watched it, but I have seen clips. And the actor, for the most part, has portrayed the prince very well, in the way that he is so kind and good to children, in the way that he's so very compassionate for people around himself. That kindness, that love, that genuine compassion is what we need. We need somebody that's going to be able to set themselves aside and put others first. You are not without anything when you put other people first. But people think about themselves first and foremost. They get so worried about whether or not they're going to get by, whether or not they're going to have enough money, whether or not they're going to have enough food, whether or not they're going to be able to keep their job. People put themselves first. So many people will say, well, just do what everyone else is doing because it makes my life easier. And that is a path of cowardice. That is a path that people take when they don't really want to stand up for the truth. And then there's people that are watching it all and becoming dead inside. And that's a betrayal. It's like, don't betray God. Don't betray the light that's in you. That's not love. If you're just going to sit back and let yourself give into the dark night of the soul and become nothing, that's not love. And I share this because Allura helped me to connect with God, to help me connect with the Lord. And I found her in 2013. I started learning seriously in 2018 when I had to hit rock bottom. I've been to a very dark place before, and I've had to see what it was I was doing wrong. And I have to see it firsthand how much what I was holding in my mind wasn't love. And because that was contaminating my heart, it was making me closed off to people. It was leaving me in a place of depression, isolation, anger. So I give my gratitude to Elysiel, my spiritual grandfather, for setting me upon the path where I had to confront the darkness inside of myself, negativity. And it's draining if you just let it sit there and fester. But you expand light when you confront it, when you confront the demons within yourself. And I worked a long time. I worked hard since 2018. Prior to that, spirituality was a hobby. I didn't truly believe in happiness. I didn't believe in love and self-worth. But I know that at some level I craved it. And I know from experience that nobody deserves to feel unloved. In 2023, I had my revelations about what my role would be. In 2023, I felt the presence of Metatron. I felt the presence of the Most High. And that's a weight that changed me. Initially, I was very depressed because my work was not done. I had more to do in terms of confronting the darkness, the mysteries, things that I don't know about myself. And I had to bring awareness to it. Light is awareness. And people have to truly want to confront themselves in brutal honesty about who they are, who they think they are, what they're doing, and where they need to go, who they need to become. But so many people find it easier to make pretend like they don't have to do anything. And so for 2024, I met the Lord. I didn't meet the Lord just by sitting on the couch and watching football. I met the Lord because I was actively working hard to know myself and to have awareness. I was working very hard to confront what was inside myself and why it was dragging my life down into the dumps. Why nothing seemed to be happening for me. Why it seemed like opportunities never happened or chances passed me by. I had to confront everything within myself. And I met the Lord. I made note of it. I told my friend Alora, and it's like, it was very confusing. Because it's like having to look in a mirror. He came to me, and I saw that he had this beautiful smile on his face. that his eyes were glowing, just beautiful, peaceful eyes, happiness. And that divine energy made me feel very uncomfortable because it showed me something that I kept trying to avoid because I didn't know where it was coming from. I didn't know why it was there, but I had to find that multiple roots contributed to it. Divine energy causes people who have negativity in themselves to react adversely. It's like a dissonance. You can't have corruption in you and then expect to be anointed with divine energy. It's not going to work because that negativity in yourself will reject it. And you can't have any of that in you. Some people have more challenges than others, and it's because of the karma. The karma that's followed us from one life to the next. All these lessons that we didn't learn when we should have learned, all the lessons we learned but forgot, it all comes back. And this is a serious video because this is heartfelt. I say things from the heart. And it baffles me how people will take what I say the wrong way. But I know it is because of what is inside themselves that they don't want to look at. I know from experience being that kind of person that took something the wrong way because of what was in myself. Projection and reflection. If you're skewed up here and you're not feeling what's in the heart, everything's going to be biased, distorted. You're not going to be able to know right and wrong. Awareness brings heart and mind closer and closer together. You have to be able to marry the two together in order to discern what the truth is and to be able to not use it the wrong way. But so many people in this world think all one way and they shut this off. Parts of their brain are not functioning because they're taught to only use one way of thinking. And we have people that are diagnosed as being with autism or having a mental illness. Has it ever occurred to anybody that what if that's just your personality? What if that is just how you are and there's nothing horribly wrong with that? Has it ever occurred to anybody that the things that you get told through the television, through social media, through all these influencers, hasn't it ever occurred to you that you are easily impressioned by them? I wanted to do a video talking about the black box, but then I thought I could just talk about the black box here. They use it for vehicles. It stores information. It stores data. Everything is a reflection of something else. Symbolism works because it represents other things. And the black box exists because the mind is like a black box. Your layers of consciousness makes a black box. At the deepest, most inner, and most mysterious part of you is a vault. And information goes there, and it controls you. Every time you're triggered, every time somebody does something that makes you feel that flight or fight response, that comes from that black box. And you have to clear it out. You have to say what's there. I didn't meet the Lord by having a black box full of junk. I met the Lord through having enough awareness of myself, who I am, for Him to be able to reach me. I didn't just reach Him by chance. I deliberately was working towards getting closer to God. And He had to come in to help me because He saw that I did not believe in myself. He saw that I didn't believe in my own happiness, that I felt undeserving. And like a loving father, He stepped in and realized I wasn't going to change unless I felt that I had somebody that was a parent to me. Because I was that hung up on the cruelty that I had to endure. Just from the very fact that a man has no ability to love his kids. And there's a lot of people that are like that. They just don't have the ability to love someone. And I felt broken because he just did not understand that the way I am was not a defect. For whatever reason, he was so angry. And it was not my fault that he grew up a certain way. But what happens is damaged people will project their hurt onto others. But we can't remain a victim. And the Lord visited me. Oh, my head hurts so much. Something just smacked me in the head. The Lord visited me, and He showed me something amazing. And my book is going to be based on what He taught me. He taught me how to use a reflection of myself. He showed me a version of Himself, which made it really confusing, and sometimes it made me angry. But in that anger, He showed me how a loving father would respond. And it just made everything feel better. I grew up feeling invisible, deeply neglected, not feeling like I had anybody there. I wasn't beaten, I wasn't, subjected to anything physically punishing. It was like this overwhelming sense of not being seen. It was very isolating. And I bet that there are quite a few people out there in the world that have experienced that, where they just felt like nobody saw them. Their existence was trivial. And that's how my existence felt. It felt like it was trivial. I merely existed if people were actively beholding me, but the moment I stepped out of their view, I was gone. Their memory did not retain anything about me. That's how I felt. And the Lord came in, and He showed me something beautiful through my own reflection. This very beautiful man, and I think I've mentioned him before, a very deeply beautiful and loving person who had a flaw that they have not yet worked out within themselves. But it was not a flaw that made them condemned or whatever. He was still beloved. And I thought about this, and I'm like, what a clever way to help a person get to know themselves better by having a relationship with somebody that doesn't exist physically, but is very much present, very much has their own way of doing things, very much is a reflection of themselves. And that was a brilliant, brilliant thing that he showed me. I feel like people would get to know him better if they were able to get to know themselves in that way. I feel like it would open doors. I feel like it's such a brilliant force of alchemy that even though it would be confusing at first or at times and raging in moments, that people would realize, hey, I can love this person unconditionally. The moment you could say, I love this person, and then have no reason attached to it, that opens a door. And more people need to allow that door to open. He can open doors, but he'd rather do it with your consent, with your agreement to follow him. When I write that book, I get visions. And he's come in, he'll show me things here and there, and then he'll let me write. He'll let me work it out, and then he'll come in, and then he'll show me other things. And he knows that I'm learning, how to write things out and how to understand how I process information. Allura helped me to learn more about myself, but then when I hit that wall, I knew that because of the way my brain was wired, the way I am as a soul, my personality, I knew that I needed something that was a bit more hands-on in experience. And so that was his way of helping me, his way of saying, hey, you're in a relationship and you're going to have to be a good partner to this other person. You're going to have to love them for unconditionally. You're going to have to take them for the good, the bad, the ugly. You're going to have to see them for as they really are. And then you're going to have to walk beside them faithfully. No betrayal. No cheating around. No adultery. Just walking with them faithfully. Sacrificing yourself for their well-being. And he showed me, moments from my past life that fit pretty well into the story, where I had to put myself in danger because this friend of mine, this beloved friend of mine, was being targeted for being different. And this beautiful man was being persecuted for being from God. And I threw myself into danger to protect him because I thought to myself, this was the most beautiful person I ever met. I love them unconditionally. And then I would just do everything for them. And that dedication was something that I had to put into it to realize, hello, it was me. I was this person. Very much unlike what people told me. Very much unlike the way people had treated me. The way you treat people says a lot about you. If you give a person a reason to feel bad about themselves, that says a lot about you. And I know we make mistakes. But the thing is to not keep making those mistakes. It's to own up to it. To make amends. To repent. As I wipe the snot from my nose. To repent. Nobody stops to think anymore. Is my action gonna hurt somebody? Is my words gonna hurt somebody? Nobody thinks about that. And I feel like a lot of the times it's because people have experienced so much negativity that they've kind of just gotten used to it. And I tell you, that can be an addiction. Because I was an addict. I'll tell you that I was an energy vampire and I was addicted to negativity because I fed off of that energy. Without it, I trembled. I felt tired, felt weak, felt very lethargic because for whatever reason, I've gotten too used to trying to feed off the energy, but something was feeding off of me too. So I had to stop doing it. And that was hard. And it was even harder having somebody who would poke at me and say, oh, look at you, you're tweaking out because you can't suck internet negative. And it's like, But you know what? The relationship I have with that person is a whole lot better because I've done a lot of work on myself. And I've gotten myself to a place where I know the Lord pretty well. And I'm always learning more. He's always showing me more. And I appreciate the times where I could feel him just coming in and just wrapping his wings around me. It's like people would melt in a positive way if they could feel that. So much of their vision of things would be softer. It's not so sharp, it's gentle. And you don't reach that gentle place by being a wolf. You reach that by being a lamb, by being a creature that's not out there to hurt people or hurt yourself. You know, I'm glad Allura has worked so hard with me. That was a lot of work. People don't know the details of what I had to do and what she's had to do. There are details of what she's had to do for me that I'm not allowed to talk about. And it's all because of my past history. The people that I was connected to, who essentially rule the world, who essentially rule it from a certain location. I've been in the pit of vipers. I left one pit of vipers to join an even bigger brood of vipers. I made that mistake, but I saw firsthand what kind of people they were. And you don't want to mess with those people because they control everything. They control the narrative. They brainwash people so easily. They feed garbage. And it's all because they know how this works. You know, the monsters will be revealed. The truth has to be revealed. Without that truth, the prince cannot come. The Prince of Peace cannot come here and establish this world as his domain. He cannot come in unless people wake up to the truth and change how they're living, change the way they're thinking, open themselves up. People like me look crazy. And that's because we are connected to the divine. And it took me a lot of work to get to that point where I could say, God's light surrounds me and fills me. I had to do so much work. And that book is going to have the work that I've done, but made in a way that only certain people will understand. Because that's sacred information. But I've had visions that awakened things within me. And I know that long ago, I got into a lot of trouble because of those vipers. And you have to be careful because their network is far reaching. So exercise awareness. Pray for people that are not in your immediate circle. Pray for those who are strangers. Help people out. Show them that you genuinely care. You got to reach into your heart and say, do I genuinely care? If you don't genuinely care about something, you're better off not doing it. Because why be a hypocrite? Don't put yourself in that box. Don't make yourself a hypocrite. Do something because you genuinely care. Because you feel the heartstrings being tugged. Do something because your heart is still alive. Keep that heart alive. Keep it beating. We need love and compassion. That's what we need. And without that, the world dies. My name is Elysiel. That means paradise of God. The Lord can't be here unless people choose heaven and not hell. But for every time a person chooses hell, they're rejecting God. Sin, temptation, depression, anxiety, fear, malice, agenda, darkness is not God. Light is. So exercise your choice. Make it genuine. Work hard to live from the heart. I do it every day. I'm not always in the best of mood, but I do my best to live from the heart and to be real every day, every moment, with every breath. You get better at it. It takes practice. You don't learn to ride a bike on day one. And with that, I say, go forth, have a good day, and remember, love and compassion is the way.